Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Chuck here, sitting on the back porch. Just kind of reflecting this morning. First of all, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. It's our special day. Where everybody focuses on dads and says thank you. Happy Father's Day. So I'm extending my happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. And uh, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about, and the reason I wanted to do a video blog today instead of my normal written blog is just to talk about being a dad. It's tough. Being a parent, whether it's mom or dad, is a tough thing. And it is definitely a calling, that God places on us, and we go out and we try to do our best. And I think many times, especially speaking to dads, is you wonder how to be a dad. You look around and you say, okay, I get examples from my father, and my father was a great example, Charles Henry Mack. He was a great example for me of being a dad, and but not everybody has that. Not every father out there has that father that they can look up to and say, that's my example of being a dad. There's so many things that our kids are facing these days that just come at them, and we're trying to figure out as fathers, how do you combat that? How do you pour into your kids, to help them go the right way? What are the words that you say? What are the things that you do? So we end up reading all these self-help books, and we watch these shows, and we go to these conferences, and we do all these things, and we try to go through these steps and say, okay, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is, to be a dad, I'm supposed to do this, and this. When actually, one thing I've learned, and I learned this from my dad, and just, it's in Scripture, and God gives us the perfect example. It's love. I mean, at the end of the day, as a dad, if you're just pouring love into your kids, man, you've done it. That's it. Because when you pour love into them, when you let them know that regardless of whatever you may do, regardless of whatever you may come across, regardless of whatever you may face or whatever failures you may have, I'm still here. I love you. I'm your dad. That is what they hold on to, knowing that they have a father who loves them, that they can always turn to, that they can always come to, no matter what happens. That is what your kids need. That is what our Heavenly Father does for us. As much as we fall, as much as we sin, as much as we mess up, we know we can always come back, and God's right there with open arms, like the prodigal son, returning home. No matter what has happened, you're my child. I love you. And I think that's the thing that we need to focus on more. And loving your children doesn't mean you just let them get away with everything. That's not love. God even speaks about that in the Bible. You don't spare the rod of discipline. You need to discipline your kids too, because that brings them up in the right way. But again, it all goes back to love. It all goes back to pouring love into your kids. And that means, being there for them. Being there for them, not having to think, I have to give my kids every little thing in the world because, the neighbor kid has it, or I have to go and overextend myself, to take my kids on this great vacation that I know we can't afford. But this is what I have to do because everybody else is doing it, and this is what they'll remember. Yeah, out of that whole thing, though, what they remember is the experience of being with you. So whether they were on that vacation with you that now you're all worried about because you come home and figured out, man, we really couldn't afford that, or whether you're taking them fishing, or you're taking them to the pool, or you're just taking them to lunch, things like that. It's those experiences that your kids remember. It's that time with you, as a dad, that they're really going to remember and reflect back on. And then when they have kids, they're going to take that forward and use that with their kids. So, it's difficult. Being a parent is difficult. It is no doubt about that. But if we make it simple, and I think sometimes we just make things a little too difficult. But if we keep it simple and bring it back to what God has already shown us, which is love, and just pour love into our kids, I think 9 times out of 10, probably 10 times out of 10, you got it right. You got it right 10 times out of 10, and no matter what may happen, that doesn't mean that your kid's going to do everything right. That doesn't mean that every decision they make in life is going to be the one that they should make. We didn't do it. You know, as much as love was poured into me, you know, as I'm growing up by my dad and my mom, I didn't make the right decisions all the time. That's just part of who we are. As much as God pours love into us, we don't make the right decisions all the time. So, you know, we can't expect our kids to do that either. It doesn't mean that you failed at being a dad. You know, because your kids make wrong choices. That doesn't mean that what you've done is wrong. At the end of the day, I truly believe if we just pour love into our kids, if we as fathers just, you know, stand up and say, I love you. We stand up and say, you know what? I'm pouring love into you. I'm letting you know that no matter what, I'm here for you. I love you. We've won. We've won. And we got to just continue to do that. And part of that also means that if we know that there are things we need to change within our lives, in order for us to truly show that love to our kids, then we need to go and do that. We need to take the responsibility that's been given to us and say, you know what, as a dad, I'm not doing right. I'm not following the path I need to follow so I can be an example for my child. And I'm not, you know, doing the things that I need to do so that I can show more love to my kids. I'm not treating, you know, my wife, you know, my spouse, I'm not treating their mother the right way. So you know, I need to change that and reflect on how I'm doing that. You know, those are the things that we as men, we as fathers need to kind of focus on too. Is, you know, part of loving our kids is trying to be the best example we can be for them, and that means for us to change when we need to change. That means for us to stop doing some things that we're doing because we know it's not the example we want to set. So again, it all goes back to love, and I think that's the message that I just want to get across today. At the end of the day, guys, you know, being a dad is tough. You know, you want the best for your kids, you want the best for your family, and you know, if you love them, if you pour into them, if you show them, you know, that no matter what, you're there for them and you love them because they're yours, you've won, my friend. You've won. And that's my message today. Just keep loving. Keep loving your kids. Keep pouring into them. Let them know how much they mean to you, you know, each and every day. And you can't go wrong. All right? So dads, again, happy Father's Day. What a blessing it is, you know, to be a father, you know, to have kids, and it's never too late. I don't care what the relationship is with your children. I don't care if it's been broken for 10, 20, 30 years, well, whatever it is. Today's the day that you can fix that. Today's the day that you can say, I'm sorry. You can change the course of what's happening. Don't wait on your kids to do it. I don't care if they're grown, you know, and you're like, well, they should come to me. It doesn't matter. You know, it's up to you as a father to change the course of the relationships you have with your kids if it's not where you want it to be. If you're not pouring the love in that you need to pour, today's the day. What better day than Father's Day for you to reach out and change the relationship you have? So, guys, have a blessed day. Have an awesome day. You know, we also get to watch Game 7 of the NBA Finals tonight on Father's Day. What a great game it'll be. For all you basketball fans out there, I'm one. So, you know, guys, enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. Hug your kids, you know, and just love, man. Just love them, and it'll all be good. All right. God bless.